10 birds, 0 flights. Evolution handed them wings, and they collectively decided not to bother. Here's every major flightless bird on Earth, what makes each one extraordinary, and why flightless does not mean helpless. Bird 1. Ostrich. Start with the obvious one. The ostrich, Struthiocamelus, is the largest living bird on the planet. It stands up to 2.7 meters tall and can weigh over 150 kilograms. That's roughly the weight of 2 adult humans, balanced on 2 legs, with a tiny head on top. Anatomically, it was never going to fly. What it did instead was become the fastest 2-legged animal alive. An ostrich can sprint at up to 70 kilometers per hour and sustain speeds around 50 kilometers per hour for extended distances. Its legs are the mechanism, long, muscular, and built for forward propulsion. Each foot has only 2 toes, which is unusual among birds and contributes to its running efficiency. One kick from those legs can kill a lion. That's not a metaphor. That's just Tuesday for an ostrich. Native to the open savannas and semi-arid regions of Africa, ostriches traded altitude for ground dominance. Given the results, it's hard to argue with the trade. Bird 2. Penguin. There are 18 recognized species of penguin, and not a single one of them can fly. What they can do is swim with a proficiency that makes most other birds look embarrassing by comparison. The key is in the wings. Penguin wings have evolved into rigid, flattened flippers. Unlike the hollow, flexible wings of flying birds, penguin flippers are dense and stiff, built for hydrodynamic propulsion, not aerodynamic lift. In the water, penguins essentially fly. They use the same wing stroke motion, but they are moving through water rather than air. Emperor penguins can reach speeds of 25 kilometers per hour underwater and dive to depths beyond 500 meters. On land, of course, they waddle. This is because their legs are positioned far back on their bodies, ideal for swimming, catastrophic for walking. Evolution optimized for the ocean and accepted the waddling as a fair compromise. Bird 3. Emu. The emu, Dromaeus novae hollandiae, is Australia's largest native bird and the second tallest living bird in the world after the ostrich. It stands up to 1.9 meters tall and is immediately recognizable by its shaggy, grayish-brown feathers, which are double-shafted, meaning each feather has 2 separate strands growing from a single base. The result looks less like a bird and more like a mop that developed opinions. Emus can't fly, but they're exceptional endurance runners. They cover enormous distances across the Australian interior, searching for food and water, sometimes traveling hundreds of kilometers during dry seasons. They also swim when necessary, which is not a skill most people associate with them. The emu famously won a war. In 1932, the Australian government deployed soldiers with machine guns to cull a population of roughly 20,000 emus damaging farmland in Western Australia. The emus didn't cooperate. The campaign was abandoned after the military concluded, in a formal report, that the emus were essentially bulletproof. Australia lost the Great Emu War. The emus are still there. Bird 4. Cassowary. The southern cassowary, Casuarius casuarius, looks like something evolution designed as a warning. It has a vivid blue and red neck, a tall bony casque protruding from the top of its head like a helmet, and inner toe claws that grow up to 12 centimeters long and taper to a point. It inhabits the rainforests of northern Australia and New Guinea. The casque is still not fully understood. Leading theories suggest it helps the bird push through dense vegetation or plays a role in thermoregulation. What is understood is what happens when one feels threatened. Cassowaries are defensive animals. They don't retreat. They charge. Those dagger claws are capable of delivering deep lacerations, and the bird can kick forward and down with significant force. It holds the record as the most dangerous bird to humans in the world, though fatalities are rare. Its ecological role is critical. Cassowaries are one of the few animals large enough to swallow big rainforest fruits whole and disperse the seeds across wide areas. Remove the cassowary and entire sections of rainforest ecology begin to unravel. Bird 5. Kiwi. The kiwi, genus Apteryx, is New Zealand's national icon and arguably the most biologically unusual bird on this list. It is small, nocturnal, and covered in feathers that look and feel like coarse hair. Its wings are so reduced they're essentially invisible, buried beneath that feathery exterior and serving no functional purpose at all. What makes the kiwi genuinely strange is its beak. It's long, curved, and tipped with nostrils at the very end, the only bird in the world with nostrils at the tip rather than the base of the bill. This allows the kiwi to smell its prey underground. It hunts worms, grubs, and insects by probing the forest floor and detecting movement and scent. It doesn't need to see what it's eating, it can smell it. Kiwis also have the largest egg relative to body size of any bird. A kiwi egg can be up to 20% of the female's total body weight. For scale, a human equivalent would be delivering a toddler. The male incubates the egg and raises the chick almost entirely alone. Bird 6. Greater rhea. The greater rhea, Rhea americana, is South America's largest bird, native to the open grasslands, pampas, and cerrado regions of Brazil, Argentina, and neighboring countries. Superficially resembles a smaller ostrich with a long neck, long legs, and a large body, but it belongs to a completely separate evolutionary lineage. Rheas have large wings. They do not use them for flight, but they are not decorative either. While running, which they do at speeds up to 60 kilometers per hour, they extend one wing like a rudder to change direction sharply. It is an effective escape mechanism for an animal built to outrun rather than outfly predators. One behavioral detail worth noting, the greater rhea is a polygamous species where the females do almost none of the childcare. Males mate with multiple females, then build a nest and incubate all the eggs themselves. The females move on to the next male. The male raises all the chicks. Nobody consulted the males before this arrangement was established. Bird 7. Kakapo. The kakapo, Strigops habroptilus, is the world's heaviest parrot and the only parrot that cannot fly. It is native to New Zealand and is, by most objective measures, an ecological disaster waiting to be prevented. It is critically endangered, nocturnal, and incapable of doing the one thing most birds consider non-negotiable. It weighs up to 4 kilograms, which is about 4 times heavier than the average parrot. Its chest muscles, which in flying birds power the wings, are significantly underdeveloped. It can climb trees using its beak and feet, and will sometimes leap from branches and glide very briefly to the ground. Calling it flight would be generous. It is at best a controlled fall with ambition. Kakapos evolved on islands with no mammalian predators. When humans introduced rats, stoats, and cats, the species collapsed. There are currently around 250 individuals left, every one of them named and individually monitored by conservation teams. The entire species exists because of intensive human intervention. Without it, the kakapo would be gone. Bird 8. Galapagos cormorant. The flightless cormorant, Nanopterum harisi, exists only on 2 of the Galapagos Islands, Fernandina and Isabella. It is the only cormorant in the world that cannot fly, and it is a near-perfect case study in how island isolation reshapes evolution. Its wings are stubby and tattered-looking, roughly a third of the size needed for actual flight. Over thousands of years, without land predators, the metabolic cost of maintaining large flight-capable wings outweighed any benefit. The wings shrank. What developed instead were large, powerful, webbed feet optimized for underwater diving. The bird hunts octopus, eels, and fish by diving from the surface and pursuing prey along the sea floor. Because the Galapagos Islands are home to cold, nutrient-rich upwellings from the Cromwell Current, the sea around them is exceptionally productive. The flightless cormorant doesn't need to travel far. It has no reason to fly. Evolution. Being efficient, obliged. Bird 9. takahē. The takahē, Porphyrio hochsteteri, is a plump, vividly colored bird native to New Zealand, and it was believed to be extinct for most of the 20th century. It was rediscovered in 1948 in a remote alpine valley in Fiordland. The scientific community reacted with the ornithological equivalent of stunned silence. It resembles an oversized, stocky swamp hen. Its plumage is a deep blue-green, its bill is large and red, and it has heavy legs built for walking through tussock grassland rather than taking off from it. Like the kakapo, it evolved in an environment without mammalian predators, and like the kakapo, it has suffered severely since their introduction. The total wild population remains extremely low, with conservation breeding programs actively working to stabilize numbers. It is one of the rarest birds in the world. That it still exists at all is a testament to concentrated conservation effort and the particular stubbornness of a bird that refused to go extinct twice. Bird 10. Inaccessible Island Rail. The Inaccessible Island Rail, Atlantesia rogersi, holds one record that no other bird can claim. It is the smallest living flightless bird on Earth. It is approximately the size of a sparrow, weighing around 35 grams, and it lives exclusively on Inaccessible Island in the South Atlantic, a remote volcanic island that is, as the name implies, genuinely difficult to reach. The island has never had native land mammals. No rats, no cats, no predators capable of hunting a small ground bird. With nothing to flee from, flight became unnecessary. The rail's wings are present but vestigial, small, weak, and not functional for powered flight. It forges on the ground, nests on the ground, and has spent thousands of years evolving into a creature that is extraordinarily well suited to an island that almost nobody visits. It is currently listed as vulnerable due to the potential threat of invasive species, which have not yet reached the island, but remain a persistent risk. The rail's survival is contingent on Inaccessible Island remaining exactly what it is.